Hey, hi, hello. This week, we're going for a float. Unfortunately, because I'm just gonna be in like a big tank of water, basically, that's fully enclosed, I'm going to leave little dude here because I don't think it's very fair to ask him to just sit in a downstay board for an hour and a half while I'm inside a tank. So we will come back to him when we get back. I will update you how it goes. You will be missed dearly. Well, unfortunately, there was a scheduling issue. I was originally booked for 1 today. I was not going to be able to pull that off because I did not sleep last night and had too many nightmares and just general painsomnia. So I called at about 11:20 to move to a later, time. I was told, we're good, we've got one for 5, we've moved you down, you're booked in. I just got there and they're like, ma'am, your appointment was for 1 o'clock. I'm like, I spoke to Kevin, and that is not what we had agreed upon. So what are we doing about that? And what we're doing about that is I now need to go kill 2 hours, which I'm not very thrilled about. I need to go kill 2 hours and then I'm gonna float, but I'm good. We are going to just keep on rolling, kill 2 hours, and then head back to the float. So let's cue up a time-killing montage. Alright guys, it is the next day, I look human again, and I am ready to recap this whole float experience. So this was my first float. It was an hour-and-a-half long float, and I was actually very kindly gifted it. Normally they are $77 for an hour-and-a-half long session at the place I went, but I was talking to a fellow Potsy and a follower of mine on Instagram, and they were kind enough to drop me a gift card in my DMs so that I could go and give it a shot, see if it helps my symptoms, see if I like it, and I definitely have some opinions on it. Firstly, it is insanely relaxing. I was lucky enough that the float tank I got actually had one of those lighted star ceilings, as you guys saw, which you could turn off the bottom light but leave that on, and it was the most calming, relaxing experience in that sense. However, I could not get comfortable. You're supposed to be able to just float, but with my EDS, I find a lot of just neck instability, and my follower was fantastic because they have these little head ring floaty things that you may have seen kind of hanging off to the side in the footage. I should have grabbed a shot of it, but I completely forgot. And the way that you're supposed to wear them is perfectly behind your head, but I was given the EDSer pro tip of putting it a little under my shoulders. Unfortunately, just the size of my head and shoulders did not work out well for that, so I had to keep my arm up the whole time, kind of holding it in place, which caused a lot of pain through my shoulders because my shoulders are definitely one of the worst points on my body. I very much do think that that's a personal thing though, and if I could have gotten actually comfortable, I feel it would have helped my pain a lot more than it was able to. I think the fact that I had to put myself in an uncomfortable position to stay floating with my head fully above water just made it not work the best for me. But I could see it working really well for other people, especially if you don't have as much like neck instability or shoulder pain. I feel like it would be such a soothing and just weightless experience then. As far as how it helped my POTS, I didn't really notice too much of a difference, which really surprised me, because the reason you float is there's just so much salt in the tank. And usually, even for me, salt baths help. I have been in more of a POTS flare over the last couple of weeks though, and I've heard firsthand from multiple spoonies how much soaks like this and like floating has helped with their POTS. So I think it might have just been timed at a weird time for my body where I didn't feel as much of the benefits, or maybe it just didn't work the same for me. I'm not 100% sure, but I can pass along that there have been a lot of spoonies that I've talked to that have told me that floats have been totally life-changing for them, and at the very least, it was a very, very relaxing experience that let me think through a lot of mental stuff I needed to work through, so I'd say it's worth giving a try no matter what. And worst comes to worst, you do just kind of get a super relaxing hour and a half to just work through your thoughts and think. I know I came out a lot more mentally relaxed after, so at the very least that's what you're gonna get, and I think that that's still 100% a reason to give it a shot. And if it doesn't work as well for like your pain and your POTS, that's okay. It's still, I don't think there's a way that this could be a waste of giving it a shot, because it was still a lovely experience. I just don't think it's something that I'm going to personally try and work into like my sort of self-care regimen. But I'd love to know, have any of you guys tried floats? So this is sort of like a newer thing. I know that there have been a lot more articles about it as of late, and like it's kind of expensive and a little hard to access, which I feel like makes it a little bit difficult for the chronic illness community to really get to experience it too much, because a lot of us are on tighter budgets due to medical debt. But I think it was a really cool experience, and I would love to hear if any of y'all have had success, or if any of y'all also found that like maybe you just have weird proportions too, because I think it's totally like my body is just strangely sized, and that little halo thing probably fits everybody else perfectly. That's like me and jeans in a nutshell. I feel like that's such a mood. But I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I stripped it down and hopped in a big tub of salt basically, and we found out that it's very relaxing. That about wraps up all I have to say on the float. It was very relaxing, a lovely experience. I think it's definitely worth trying at the end of the day, and I hope you liked this week's video. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you next week.